Hello, YouTube. I want to share some sections of Google's 2018 Workforce Diversity Report with you all. And this report deals with Google's U.S. workforce, unless otherwise noted. So let's begin. So, globally speaking, gender representation breaks down as follows: 30.9% female, 69.1% male. When it comes to race and ethnicity of Google's US workforce, it breaks down as follows: 36.3% Asian, 2.5% Black, 3.6% Latinx, 0.3% Native American, 53.1% white, 4.2% two or more races. When it comes to leadership representation, globally speaking, gender breaks down as follows: 25.5% female, 74.5% male. In terms of race and ethnicity, leadership representation breaks down as follows: 26.3% Asian, 2% Black, 1.8% Latinx, 0.4% Native American, 66.9% white, 2.7% two or more races. Next, let's talk about the intersection of race and gender. We know various social identities can overlap to influence the amount of bias or disadvantage someone faces. That's why we're releasing our workforce representation data cut by race and gender for the first time. We hope that increased transparency drives change. We want to understand everyone's experience, including those likely to face the greatest disadvantage. We are also using this opportunity to represent the experience of multiracial individuals. The data in this section allows people of two or more races to more accurately state their racial background. For example, Black Plus includes all Googlers who identify as Black, plus those who identify as Black and any other race. Please note, this section reflects US data. So when it comes to Google's 2018 overall representation breakdown by gender, race, and ethnicity, it breaks down as follows. When it comes to Asian representation, 12.5% Asian females, 25.7% Asian males, for a total of 38.2% Asian. When it comes to Black representation, 1.2% Black females, 1.8% Black males, for a total of 3% Black. When it comes to Latinx representation, 1.7% Latino females, 3.6% Latino males, for a total of 5.3% Latinx. When it comes to Native American representation, 0.3% Native American females, 0.5% Native American males, for a total of 0.8% Native American. When it comes to Google's white representation, 15.5% white females, 41.1% white males, for a total of 56.6% white. Next, from unconscious bias to conscious action. Everyone is biased. Science shows that's how the human brain works. We don't expect people to rid themselves of all bias, but we want them to recognize it. Research shows that when we are more aware of unconscious bias, we make more objective decisions. To date, 84% of Google's people managers have taken unconscious bias training. And we've also introduced unconscious bias workshops into all new Googler orientations. To help provide tools and build skills to overcome bias, We've taken this work further. In 2017, we expanded our Decoding Race series, which grappled with wide-ranging topics on race, reaching over 15,000 Googlers. This set the stage for our work to increase racial and social equity across Google in 2018. We know that having meaningful conversations around race can be difficult and uncomfortable. So we've designed and implemented a series of interactive learning labs with the aim of expanding racial awareness and explaining the impact of stereotypes for all Googlers from all backgrounds. Changing the way we think about bias is a huge and complex task, both inside and outside Google. Our grant funding supports many organizations that tackle bias. We also want to do more to challenge gender stereotypes in Google's workplace. Last year, we made parental benefits gender neutral. New parents, regardless of gender, receive up to 12 weeks fully paid leave to bond with their child. Birth mothers receive an additional 10 to 12 weeks of pregnancy recovery time. In addition, all new parents benefit from a 2-week gradual return policy, ramping back to work part-time at full-time salary. While Google's benefits for women are best in class, the stereotypes they face in the media, playground, classroom, and at home remain a barrier. That's why Google invests in teaching girls and other underrepresented groups to code. And that's why we inspire girls and young women to consider a career in the tech sector via projects like Made with Code. Google's efforts in this space include a strong focus on pay equity. We recently shared our annual 2017 pay equity analyses publicly. This looks for pay differences based on gender, for which we have information worldwide, and in the US by race/ethnicity. We will continue this work to support a fair and equitable Google. All right, next I want to share with you guys how Google is trying to reach new talent of color. Investing in tomorrow's talent. We've made huge strides in improving the diversity of early pipeline talent. This year, our internship program welcomes our largest ever cohort from underrepresented backgrounds, with 49% of Google's global interns identifying as Black, Latinx, and/or women. Yet it's important to continue to invest in tomorrow's talent. So we are also deepening our relationships with historically Black colleges and universities, HBCUs, in the US, and extending our programs to the Latinx community. In 2017, we launched Howard West, a computer science residency program that attracts top software engineering students from the Black community directly to Google. In 2018, we are extending this opportunity to more scholars and faculty to include additional HBCUs and Hispanic Serving Institutions, HSIs. Overall, in 2017, we welcomed 96 students from HBCUs to Google, up from 14 students in 2014. And since 2014, we've more than tripled the number of schools where we recruit from 75 to 225. We also invest in future tech talent in underrepresented communities. We offer a 3-week computer science course for graduating high school seniors through Google's Computer Science Summer Institute. Our Google in Resident program sends Googlers out to college campuses across the US to teach students computer science courses. This year, in line with our efforts to support the Latinx community, we're delighted to expand our Google in Resident program to include HSIs. Over the past 5 years, we've grown this program to 10 schools. And in the fall, we'll add 3 additional schools, including 2 HSIs. To date, we've engaged over 1,500 students through the Google in Resident program and look forward to serving many more. In conclusion, Google's workforce data demonstrates that if we want a better outcome, we need to evolve our approach. That's why from now on, ownership for diversity and inclusion will be shared between Google's leadership team, people's operations, and Googlers. It's also why we are all committed to accelerating progress, generating equitable outcomes, and ensuring our culture is supportive for everyone. Our strategy doesn't provide all the answers, but we believe it will help us find them. We look forward to inviting you back next year to see what progress we made. Success is never guaranteed, but this work is fundamental to Google's mission, and tens of thousands of Googlers are passionately committed to it. We are determined we will have the impact the world expects of us, and that we expect of ourselves. Signed, Danielle Brown, VP, Chief Diversity and Inclusion Officer. All right, so that is an abridged version of Google's 2018 Workforce Diversity Report. Now I want to go through some of my talking points. All right, how do you feel about this as it relates to Black people? Do you think that Google is serious about diversifying its workforce? Do you think Google's lack of Black people in its US workforce staff is a big deal? Do you think Google is purposely neglecting to hire Black people? Or perhaps do you think that Black people just aren't meeting Google's job requirements and this is just how it ended up? Should this even be considered an issue? After all, organizations like the NFL and the NBA have majority Black players. Should diversity be championed for those organizations as well? And I know some people are going to come through and say that we should have our own Google. And I agree. But let's be real. That's easier said than done. And if you can't even qualify to get a job at Google, assuming there's no racial bias at play, of course, then how are you going to build a Google? So let me know what you think in the comments section. Until the next video, adios and goodbye for now.